Because in their mind, they're both in their prime. Until they're not in their prime. Until all of a sudden Canelo shows up and his legs are slow. And he's not closing the gap so fast. And Crawford is taking advantage of that.
The boxing community is excited over the highly anticipated matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence "Bud" Crawford. However, the insights from top insiders are saying behind closed doors will blow your mind.
It's a good fight. Well, I'm not going to say too much.
Okay.
I'm going to save it till on the day of the fight.
Okay.
But look, it's going to be a mega fight. Honestly, it's hard to pick the winner.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a close one.
We can all see it. Canelo's declining. We can see it because Father Time just catches up to you.
Eddie Hearn just dropped some serious truth about this massive showdown. He's not buying into the hype like everyone else. Instead, he's asking the one question that could destroy all our expectations about this fight.
I think it's a great fight. I mean, it's two guys that are coming towards the back end of their careers, but two legends, pound-for-pound legends of the sport. A fascinating fight between two guys with tremendous ring IQ. I guess the big conversation is how the weight will affect Bud and how he will respond to the size. We got a situation where in Los Angeles, Crawford didn't look that big against the 154. In fact, now you're going up two divisions at 168 for Canelo Alvarez, who is, a pound-for-pound legend of the sport. Against Skull, he didn't look great. The movement didn't look great. I didn't think his legs looked fantastic. And I think if Terence Crawford decides to box elusively in this fight, I think he's going to really have success.
Hearn thinks this whole fight comes down to one simple thing. Can Crawford survive being the smaller man? He's calling both fighters legends, but he's worried Crawford might get crushed by Canelo's size. This isn't just talk. Hearn believes size will decide everything. Moreover, things got even more intense when Oscar De La Hoya made a statement that shocked the entire boxing community.
We can all see it. Canelo's declining. We can see it because Father Time just catches up to you. That's just the name of the game, the nature of the beast, right?
De La Hoya basically said Canelo is done. He thinks the Mexican star is past his prime and can't hang with Crawford anymore. This is huge coming from someone who knows Canelo so well.
I don't know. I think it's a 50-50 fight at this point, given where they're at their careers.
But if you had to give somebody 1%.
Last one here.
1%.
1%, I would go with Canelo. Yeah, just because of the weight factor.
De La Hoya believes Father Time has caught up with Canelo. He's saying Crawford is facing a declining fighter, not the destroyer we used to know. These statements are stirring significant controversy within boxing circles. In addition, Teddy Atlas offered an even harsher perspective that many may find difficult to accept.
I hope that it's not, at the end of the day, when we're talking about saying, yeah, this fight happened a few years too late. I think that's potential of that being there. And nobody's talked about that because in their mind, they're both in their prime.
Atlas thinks this fight is happening at the wrong time. He's questioning if either fighter is really at their best anymore. Atlas is wondering if we're watching two legends past their peak. But then Roy Jones Jr. said something that changed everything about how we should look at this fight.
Initially, I thought maybe Canelo didn't have the hunger to go out there and really try to keep Bud off him or try to go at Bud, When I heard he had Jaron Ennis in camp, it made me realize that he really is trying to prepare for Bud because Jaron Ennis is probably the only other person that can really logically and realistically fight left-handed or right-handed, which is what he's going to see from Bud. That lets me know that Canelo is taking it serious. If Canelo's taking it serious, it's going to be a much harder fight for Bud than I anticipated. I still think Bud has the skill to beat anybody on any night, but so does Canelo. So this makes it a much more intriguing fight for me. It's hard to really pick a winner now.
Roy was not impressed at first, but when he found out Canelo brought in Jaron Ennis for training, his whole view flipped. Now he's saying this fight is way harder to predict than anyone thinks. However, former world champion Paulie Malignaggi went nuclear with his breakdown.
It's interesting because I think that the only dynamic that makes this fight competitive, in my opinion, is the difference in weight class. I think Canelo has been for a while a diminishing fighter.
Malignaggi straight up said the only reason this fight is close is because Canelo might be washed up. He's giving Crawford props, but thinks the weight difference is saving Canelo from total embarrassment.
Call it age, call it whatever other things you want to call it, but I just think that, the only reason he's even still around at this level is because he's avoided his top contenders in his weight class, so he's been able to still remain champion at that weight class. And now, being champion at that weight class, it has sort of brought up this big opportunity to fight a smaller, excellent world champion in Terence Crawford.
But Malignaggi also warned that Crawford is still taking a massive risk. Even if Canelo is declining, his power and body shots could end Crawford's night in seconds.
So I think when it comes to the levels of boxing, just straight from boxing perspective, I think Crawford is head and shoulders above Canelo. But, they do make weight classes for a reason. Canelo is still very strong. He's a good body puncher, and he's a bigger guy naturally. So, that does bring a bit of a risk to the table. I think Crawford can win the fight.
But Showbiz the adult sees something different that could shock everyone. He thinks this fight comes down to pure hunger, and he believes one fighter wants it way more than the other. His pick might surprise you.
I think Saul Canelo Alvarez is hungrier than Terence Bud Crawford. I was going to wait to do this video for like fight week just to be sure, but I'm going to do it now to follow the video that I did yesterday. I think Saul Canelo Alvarez is obviously hungrier than Terence Bud Crawford.
Importantly, Amir Khan kept his prediction secret, but couldn't hide his excitement.
I think I'm the only guy that's been in with both fighters. So yeah, I'm thinking of maybe going there. I've been asked to go there and obviously give my input on the fight before they go in the ring. And obviously I know both fighters. Canelo's a friend now after our fight we had, and also Crawford had shared training camp with him as well.
Khan called this a true mega fight, but refused to reveal his pick. His silence is making fans even more curious about what he really thinks.
It's a good fight. Well, I'm not going to say too much. Okay. I'm going to save it till on the day of the fight. Okay. But look, it's going to be a mega fight. Honestly, it's hard to pick the winner. Yeah. But like I said, it's a close one.
Adding to this, William Skull made it crystal clear that weight classes exist for a reason. He believes Canelo's natural size advantage makes this fight almost unfair for Crawford.
I think it's going to be a great fight. There is a disadvantage in regards to the weight classes. If there wasn't, it would be a 50-50 fight. But because of this fighting at this weight class definitely benefits Canelo. I say about a 75% chance that Canelo wins the fight.
Therefore, Spencer Oliver thinks this could be Crawford's final fight, win or lose. Oliver believes Crawford knows this payday might be his last chance at boxing immortality.
I suppose, that's what drives him on. What drives him on is quite remarkable because the guy still trains like a challenger. Yeah. But you're right in what you say. For Bud Crawford, you go, this is a whole new scale, what he's going into right now, the money that he's going to be receiving now. And if he wins this one, I think he sails off into the sunset. I don't think we see him in the ring again.
At the same time, Simon Jordan picked his side, and it's not who most people expect. He thinks Crawford's skills are Canelo's kryptonite, even though the size difference has everyone worried.
We've discussed it on a number of occasions. I went straight away with Crawford, and so did Spence. I mean, other people that we've spoken to, I think Paul Smith and other people that sit on the show with us think it will be Canelo Alvarez because of size. We've seen Canelo Alvarez take that journey up to light heavy and find himself coming up against Dimitri Bivol and not being able to do what he does at super middleweight. I just think that Crawford is such a fighter of such stature and competence that he might just be the kryptonite to Saul Alvarez.
Now, consequently, True Geordie fired back at all the size talk with a bold statement. Geordie thinks everyone is wrong about Crawford being too small. He believes the size difference is overblown and Crawford won't be the little guy people think.
Canelo's a bit more thick in his skeletal structure, he's got that dense muscle to him. But Crawford will not be the tiny guy in there like people have made it out.
Besides that, Andre Ward's prediction carries more weight than almost anyone else's. The undefeated legend made his choice crystal clear. Ward's analytical mind and championship experience make his pick practically impossible to ignore.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. Big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. It ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
In brief, Lester Martinez has actually sparred with Crawford, giving him unique insight. Martinez revealed that Crawford's confidence in camp is through the roof. He says Crawford isn't scared of moving up. He's embracing the challenge completely.
Está como dicen muchos, está cabrón. Está preparado, está listo, a pesar de venir de una categoría muy abajo, subir a la 168, pues yo te digo, los sparring con él, tanto lo he ayudado como he sentido que él me ha ayudado también a mí.
In conclusion, Sebastian Fundora knows what it's like to fight bigger opponents, and his take is eye-opening. Fundora broke down exactly what Crawford faces moving up to super middleweight. His insider knowledge of weight jumping makes his opinion incredibly valuable.
Comfortable at 168, you know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, you know, of course he's probably been training, you know, again, high-class fighter. But to be comfortable at 168, you're going to have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's going to take a toll.
This fight is splitting the boxing world right down the middle. Some experts see Crawford's skill winning the day. Others believe Canelo's power and size will be too much. The truth? Nobody really knows what happens when these two legends collide. Will Crawford's boxing genius overcome the odds? Or does Canelo have enough left to prove the doubters wrong? What's your prediction? Drop it in the comments and let's see who's got the best read on this mega fight.